The Attorney General's office disqualified the ex-governor and the ex-secretary of health of San Andres for generating health risks for the islanders as they omitted to guarantee the effective delivery of health service between the years 2016 and 2018.
The Attorney General's Office of the Nation announced in a press release the first instance ruling where it sanctioned with dismissal and general disqualification for 9 years and 5 months the former governor of San Andres, Providence, and Catlina, Ronald Hosni Haller, for failing to fulfill his function of managing the department's network of public health service provider institutions. It is worth noting that for the same facts, the control entity imposed the same sanction on the then Secretary of Health, Adolfo Lambi Zurrueta, after verifying that through a previous study, he endorsed the execution of a contract with the Universitaria Health Service Provider Institution, ignoring the reality of the department and that this service provider institution had presented deficiencies in its attention model according to audit reports and the National Superintendents of Health. On the other hand, within the statement, the entity explains and demonstrated that Hosni Haller, and I open quotes, omitted his function of advancing actions to organize, direct, and coordinate the public network of health service provider institutions and ensure the effective provision of health service of the people of San Andres up to the third level of care between January 1, 2016 and April 20, 2018, close quotes. In the opinion of the entity, those disciplined allowed serious health risks to originate for those affiliated to the subsidized and contributory regime, for those who are not affiliated to the Social Security system, and for those who visit the archipelago. The Public Prosecutor's Office recalled in the disciplinary ruling that, open quotes, the territorial entities must confirm that they have the institutional power to guarantee adequate management and achieve favorable health results for the population, leading to a reduction of health gaps and inequities in the territory, close quotes. With these conducts, the ex-officials incurred in serious misconduct for participating in the contractual process carried out by the departmental administration with disregard of the principles that regulate the state, contracting, and the administrative function. It should be noted that the former officials may appeal against this decision.
With a high reward, authorities seek to clarify the crime of a 17-year-old minor who was murdered over the weekend.
The police command of the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina announced a reward for information leading to the capture of the persons involved in a homicide case that occurred over the weekend in the sector of the Obrero neighborhood, where a minor lost his life due to gunshot wounds. The police announced that they are working to clarify the facts.
Through a phone call, a situation was known of the alleged shooting in the sector of the Obrero neighborhood, and upon arrival of the personnel assigned to the model and upon conducting the verification, it was established that they have injured a 17-year-old minor who is transferred to the hospital and dies. Through the work of the neighborhood, it could be established that some subjects on a motorcycle arrived in the sector and without mediating words, they opened fire. In the same way, judicial police and judicial intelligence personnel have been able to establish important data. We regret the facts presented. We join the pain of this family, and we are offering a reward of 10 million pesos that will lead us to the clarification of the unfortunate event and the capture of the subjects.
The authorities are analyzing the security cameras that could have captured the crime or the route taken by the murderers after the fact, material that would allow the identification of the vehicle used as well as the identity of those involved.
And taking into account the Christmas holidays, the departmental government, headed by the Secretariat of Health, launched a campaign to prevent and control diabetes through the low consumption of sweets and flour that are part of the traditional dishes served during the Christmas season.
Knowing that diabetes is the increase of glucose in the blood and that it affects a large part of the island community, the Secretariat of Health is leading a campaign to reduce the consumption of flour, sweets, and other foods that affect the people who suffer from the disease and those who have a family history of the disease so that they can take care of their health. The Health Secretariat also called on the community to practice sports and maintain the dental care.
Recordemos, por favor, en esta época dicembrina.
Let us remember this holiday season to reduce our sugar intake. Let's remember the diseases of our ancestors, for these diseases does not only occur in adults but also in children and pregnant women. Let's reduce the consumption of sugar, flour, and those tasty sweets that await us at home, because they cause many diseases, such as stroke or kidney disease, and the idea is to reduce mortality.
Desde la salud bucal recordarles que la
From oral health, remember that diabetes also influences the oral cavity with tooth loss and periodontal disease. Then we remind them to have good oral hygiene habits, use dental floss, visit the dentist at least 3 times a year, and avoid the consumption of carbohydrates and sweets.
Realizar mucha actividad física, salir a caminar.
Exercise, do a lot of physical activity, go for a walk, and above all, have a good diet. Let's change our lifestyle and be healthier by consuming fruits and vegetables and making our medical checkups if we're diabetic, hypertensive, or suffer from kidney disease.
The Health Secretariat invited the community of the islands to participate in sports and physical activity programs, as well as to enjoy the Christmas festivities without excessive alcoholic beverage, which also affect the health of people with pathologies such as diabetes and hypertension.
And in other news, the Secretariat of Public Services gave a positive report of the Saying a Nutrient campaign held in recent days, managing to attend a large number of canines and felines, that contribution to the control of the population that often is in a state of vulnerability.
The departmental government, through the Secretary of Public Services and the Jose Antonio Nariño Foundation, carried out last December 15 and 16 an animal spaying and neutering campaign totally free of charge at the departmental shelter.
We invite the community to be part of this project, which is very good, in order to avoid overpopulation of animals. We all know that the island has many street animals. We are working hard with the mobile to collect animals. About 50 animals have been collected from the street and have been brought here. In this campaign, we basically managed to spay and neuter both felines and canines.
The objective of this work is to provide veterinary services to the animals of the department. In addition, the departmental government invites the entire community to make use of veterinary care services, including the service of the mobile animal unit, Animal Savers, which is available to provide veterinary care, sterilization, rescue, among others, especially to animals in a state of vulnerability and abandonment.
And the Hill Fest had a great outcome this past weekend. The entire Hill community enjoyed the gastronomic delights, typical games, dances, and contests that were available at the venue. Here's a bit of what the event was all about.
The happiness and satisfaction of the children and adults present at the Hill Fest was the protagonist of this cultural event held during the weekend. Around 1,000 typical dishes were prepared by local women who put all their effort and dedication into making sure that the community enjoyed them. The event also had a great variety of typical and traditional sweets and cakes of the island.
Here we are celebrating our Hill cultural and sport activities. Today we have all different types of games, of cultural dances, of food, of bits, of handball, of domino, all our ancestral games.
From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the community of the Hill sector was present at the Brooks Hill School Court, where they saw African hairstyle contests, games that have traditionally existed for years in the department, board game competitions, typical music groups played, and there were dances and performances presented by members of the community. In general terms, the activity had a positive outcome.
Our regional channel is nominated in 2 categories of the InstaFest, that is in the 4th version awards, 35 categories in the case of the Teleislas family, as Best Regional Television Channel with Digital Presence of the Year, and Best Variety and Training Program of the Year with Pretty Island Magazine.
With an audience of more than 166 million followers, the Instant Fest arrives in its fourth version to highlight those who stand out for their content of social networks and create content with the most views and positive comments. This year's celebration will take place in the city of Cartagena. An original channel is nominated in 2 categories that demonstrate the high-quality content produced by Teleislas family.
Los premios InstaFest son los...
The InstaFest Awards are the most important awards for the creation of digital content, and this year celebrates its 4th version. These awards were created in 2018 and are the event that brings together and rewards the main influencers, Instagrammers, YouTubers, and most important celebrities in Colombia and Latin America in what social networks are all about. This edition will award content creators in more than 35 categories and will take place on December 19th in the city of Cartagena. Teleislas has 2 nominations: Best Regional Television Channel with Digital Presence of the Year and Best Variety and Training Program for the Year with Pretty Islands Magazine. We are very excited about these nominations because they are a reflection of the hard work we do every day to transmit quality content.
The awards event will be from 8 to 10:45 p.m. at the Gethsemane Theater. In addition to different spaces such as the Academic Day, Digital Expo, interactive tables, pink carpet, and the Insta Concert, whose schedules can be consulted on InstaFest social networks. Among the categories that will be awarded today at the event are Best Daughter Influencer, Best Educational, Cultural, or Scientific Content, Best Manager or Artist Representative, Best Urban Artist, and Best Online Production, among others.
And now we continue with other events that are news today in our brief news section.
The Chamber of Commerce of the department delivered 2 informative televisions to the first reception point for the more than 1,200 tourists that visit the island each year. With the implementation of this communication channel, the entity seeks to raise awareness among national and international visitors regarding their behavior and good practices within the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve. Next Thursday, December 22nd, the agro-educational fair will be held with the children of the Cove Recreational Center who are part of the agricultural project from preschool, who will perform activities such as exchange of seeds, seedlings, vegetable gardens, workshops, recreational games, and face painting. The Secretariat of Health supported the different IPS on the National Day of Vaccination Intensification held this weekend. Adults and children were able to complete their regular vaccination schedules, those against COVID-19, and strengthen their respiratory system by receiving the vaccine against influenza.
And we reach to the end of this broadcast, but we see you tonight at 8 p.m. with more of Teleislas News. Good afternoon.